Trump's Ukraine-Russia reset, a tight deadline, shifting rhetoric, and high stakes, President Trump's recent actions regarding the Ukraine-Russia conflict, issuing a 2-week deadline for a deal and publicly criticizing Vladimir Putin, represent a complex maneuver with significant implications. This commentary analyzes these developments, exploring Trump's motivations, the feasibility of a resolution, and the potential geopolitical fallout. The promise and the pressure, a campaign commitment. Unfulfilled, Trump's involvement stems from a campaign promise to swiftly end the war in Ukraine, setting high expectations for his administration. Yet nearly 100 days into his second term, a deal remains elusive. This unmet promise creates political vulnerability for Trump. The strain, White House meeting with Zelensky over access to Ukrainian rare earth minerals, revealed deep divisions. Zelensky's refusal to sign an agreement signifies significant disagreement, possibly indicating his reluctance to appear dictated to by the U.S. despite needing financial support. A notable shift, Trump's criticism of Putin. The most striking aspect is Trump's public criticism of Putin. Historically accused of being too lenient on the Russian leader, Trump's recent statements, a Truth Social post, and remarks to reporters mark a departure. He expressed disappointment in Putin's continued military actions, especially targeting civilians. This criticism carries weight given their past relationship and persistent allegations of Russian interference in U.S. elections. Several factors could explain this shift: realpolitik and impatience. Trump may be genuinely frustrated that Putin is hindering his promise of a quick resolution. Putin's actions could undermine Trump's credibility. Domestic politics. Criticizing Putin could deflect accusations of being too close to Russia and appease domestic critics demanding a tougher stance. Strategic calculation. This could be a calculated move to pressure both sides. By distancing himself from Putin and hinting at harsher measures, Trump may be creating leverage. Personal offense. Trump is sensitive to being misled. If he believes Putin is dishonest or disrespectful, Trump might be reacting personally. His personality is well known. He is transactional, and once you cannot fulfill on your side, he may be inclined to distance. Regardless, Trump's criticism is significant. The ambitious deadline, 2 weeks to peace? Trump's 2-week deadline is a bold, risky move, creating urgency but raising questions about its feasibility. Several factors make this timeline incredibly challenging. Deep-seated conflicts. The conflict is rooted in complex historical issues. Resolving them in 2 weeks requires a level of compromise absent thus far. Entrenched positions. Both sides have invested heavily. Russia seeks to retain occupied territories, while Ukraine aims to reclaim sovereignty. External actors. U.S. and EU interests complicate negotiations. Horrific casualties. The reference to thousands dying weekly highlights the human cost, which, while incentivizing peace, can also entrench positions. Failure to meet the deadline presents challenges. Loss of credibility undermines his promise and emboldens critics. Escalation. Risk. Harsher measures against Russia could escalate the high conflict, strained alliances, damages relations with Ukraine and allies. Central issues and obstacles, key issues, will dominate negotiations. Territorial integrity. The status of Crimea and occupied areas remains a major sticking point. Ukraine won't likely cede territory, while Russia is unlikely to relinquish control. Trump's suggestion that Zelensky would concede on Crimea requires substantiating. Security guarantees. Ukraine will seek protection against future aggression. NATO membership is a non-starter for Russia. Alternative arrangements are uncertain. Sanctions relief. Russia will likely demand relief from sanctions. Key players and their perspectives. Understanding motivations is crucial. Donald Trump. Driven. By fulfilling promises, improving domestic standing, and striking a historic deal, he'll likely approach negotiations transactionally. Vladimir Putin. His goals are unclear. He might seek to destabilize Ukraine, expand his sphere of influence, or protect Russian-speaking populations. He will want to avoid making concessions. Volodymyr Zelensky, focused on protecting Ukraine's sovereignty and minimizing human costs. In a precarious situation. Wild cards and unforeseen events. Unforeseen events can alter the situation. Military escalation disrupts negotiations and hardens positions. Political instability within Russia or Ukraine creates uncertainty. External intervention. Increased involvement by other actors can complicate the situation. Senator Kennedy's perspective, Senator Kennedy's strong statement, reflects American frustration with Putin. He suggests America has been played, that Putin sees America afraid, and calls, though stops short of direct calls to action, but calls for strong economic sanctions for decisive action. His words highlight the range of opinions within the USA. Consequences of failure to broker a deal would have dire implications. Prolonged conflict, years of further destruction and instability, escalation, risk, increasing the chance of a wider war, weakened international order, undermines diplomacy and the rules-based order. Missing information with context, the summary could benefit from including the mentioned details to offer the most informed view. In late February, there was tension boiled over when Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky argued in front of reporters in the Oval Office. However, Trump and Zelensky spoke privately when both attended the funeral of Pope Francis in Rome on Saturday, and a reset of relations appeared to take place. Russian President Vladimir Putin said during a Saturday meeting, according to Russian state media TASS, the Kiev regime's venture has failed completely, while the huge losses suffered by the enemy, in particular, those among the most combat-fit, best prepared and equipped Ukrainian army units, including the formations provided with Western equipment, and these are assault units and special operations forces, will undoubtedly have their impact along the entire engagement line. Conclusion: Trump's 2-week deadline is a high-stakes gamble. His criticism of Putin may signal a desire for peace or a strategic move. Either way, achieving a resolution will be difficult. The West and the world should proceed carefully, balancing conflict resolution with deterring aggression and upholding international law.